Video number 2. What is a food forest? It's obviously a forest made up of lots of edible food, a little bit deeper. It's basically meant to mimic a natural ecosystem. So ultimately the goal is in about 5 years time, we won't have to do very much at all. There'll be enough plants in the forest to suppress any weeds. The ground will hold the moisture, so we won't need to water it. It will act much like a real forest, just much yummier. Forests have 7 layers. The first one is your canopy. Oh, this pen doesn't work. Let's try another one. So the first layer is your canopy. And this is your big trees. For us, that's going to be fruits, nuts, maybe a couple of nitrogen fixers. Then you have your sub-canopy. Smaller trees, dwarf trees, smaller varieties of trees, citrus. Then you have your shrubs, bushes, berries in our case, mostly. You got your herbs, which as well as your herbs can include some sort of vegetables, the ones that do die back over winter and come back the next year, or if it's a winter plant then maybe it dies back in the summer and comes back. But so that's 4 layers. Now we have our vines. That's your kiwi fruit, your passion fruit, grapes, that kind of stuff that all grows up. Even pumpkins, cucumbers, that kind of stuff can all be trained to go up as well. We've got our root layer, so that's carrots, radishes, beetroots, all that kind of stuff. You could include potatoes and things in there. We're not to a large extent, because the whole idea is not to be constantly digging up the forest floor. So if you've got potatoes, you're going to need to be turning it over regularly. We might have one small patch, but generally speaking we won't grow a lot of that stuff in there. We'll keep that separate. You also have your ground cover. That's really going to help suppress the weeds. That's things like your strawberries, your orange berries, anything that sort of creeps. So some of your herbs will do that too. Act as a bit of ground cover. So that's your 7 layers. Some people also include a separate layer for mushrooms. Other people include that in the ground cover. So you could take it up to 8 layers if you wanted to, but we'll stick to 7. So how do we achieve this? First of all, you've got to whack down all those weeds, get rid of as much grass as you can. Then you need a lot of cardboard, a lot of cardboard. If you're planning on doing a space anywhere close to ours, go hit up the furniture shops. If you've got a much smaller area, regular cardboard boxes might do you, but for us that was it was very time consuming. So the big furniture ones are the best ones. People, please stop using so much sellotape. You don't need it. There was a ridiculous amount of sellotape that came off of those boxes, and of course that has to come off before it can go on the ground. Otherwise you're just burying plastic. So you strip your cardboard, you lay that down over your nicely cut grass or whatever it is that you're smothering, and then you need some mulch. We've got 3 different types of mulch in our forest. The first one, the first 3 lots that we got, were just wood chip from the local lumber place. It's alright, it's eventually going to mulch down. Then we got some stuff from a local farm, which came out of their calving shed, so it's all mixed with some manure. That's quite good stuff. And that's mixed in, well, like we've mixed all ours in together. We don't have separate areas with them. And then most of our stuff has come from a local arborist, and that's the stuff you really want because it's got all the leaf matter and things in it. So that's going to really help to break down into a sort of forest soil type environment much quicker. So if you can get anything off of your local arborist, that's the way to go. So you've laid your cardboard, you've chucked your mulch on top, and then it's just a case of starting planting. And you can do this in any size area. If you wanted to do just a tiny little patch with one tree and a few bushes around the bottom, it's the same principle. You're still going to use these 7 layers. You're just going to do it on a much smaller scale. So Happy growing.